Okay, guys, welcome to another video. Obviously, I haven't posted in a while, and my apologies. Today, I'll be reacting to my upstairs neighbors won't stop cracking. Have I dealt with cracking before? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. Be that as a story for another day, but yeah, let's get into it.
Alright, so I'm dealing with a bit of a sticky situation, literally, because I might have the
Okay,
worst upstairs neighbor in history. Let's take it back to January when
what
I
they
first
built.
moved into my apartment. At that point, I didn't really know any of my neighbors. In fact, I had no clue who was living above me. It was a chill time, I had no complaints, but then I started hearing things. The only way I can really describe
Okay.
it is that it was like a rhythmic squeak.
Okay. I didn't realize it was something this bad. I just thought like something. Wow, I can't speak today. I just thought that it was just a bit of not this loud. I did not think it was this
At
fucking
first, I
loud.
thought the person who lived above me was like cleaning their house, and that was the sound their
Yeah,
scrubber was making.
I
I
would
was
think
like,
that too.
man,
I'm
these
not gonna
people
lie.
are really neat freaks, cleaning their house every night. Oh. Even though I had
Oh,
my suspicions, I didn't really know exactly what was going on until I finally got a glimpse of my neighbor. As I was coming back from running errands one day, I saw him leaving his apartment, and it was just like a college
okay.
age dude, except he was with his girlfriend, and I was like, oh, that's the scrubber. Actually seeing
Yeah.
them basically confirmed my suspicions, and all I really wanted to do was recommend the guy get a new
Ugh.
mattress. And at that point, the sound didn't really bother me too much because I would only ever hear it like late at night, and usually I'd be asleep or out, so it wouldn't.
Sound didn't bother you that much. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's a bit. That's a bit F.
Even be that common of an occurrence. And even when I would hear the squeaking, it would only happen for like 30 minutes max, which W
That is still a long time.
stamina.
Obviously,
So this
W
would go
stamina.
on for a couple months. It was a pretty cordial, respectful relationship with my neighbor. I'd give him a nod whenever I saw him, and we never really had any problems. He was this Asian dude, probably went to UT. He seemed like about my age, and he had this alt goth white girlfriend. So bro was living good, and again, I had no problems with them for the first couple months. But then I started hearing things and it escalated a little bit. Now, if you
Like
watched
what?
these two videos that I made like a month ago, you know exactly what I'm talking about because while I was recording those videos, I started to hear giggling and rhythmic thumping coming from above. Now, when it was the squeaking
Okay.
sound before, I gave it a pass because it was late at night and wasn't too distracting, but dude, this was at like 3 p.m. I'm in my room trying to record videos. Meanwhile, bro is going crazy upstairs. Like,
Hey, shout out to bro though. At least you know he's getting game.
congratulations, but I'm not trying to
Yeah.
hear that, bro. I would love to go my whole life without hearing anyone else other than myself cracking. I was furious, and I
Yeah,
knew that
that's
I
a
had to
valid point.
plot my revenge. So a couple weeks ago, a girl came to stay over at my apartment, and obviously I wanted to spend time with her and create some memories, but more than
Yeah.
anything, I
You
wanted
want
to
a
get
revenge.
back at my upstairs neighbor. So anytime we
Understandable.
started to get
Very
freaky, I
fucking
tried to
understandable.
direct the noise upstairs. Part of me wanted to get a
Okay.
stick and like start banging on the ceiling and be like, hey, you listening up there? But somehow,
Very petty
somehow it
stuff.
got even
I feel
worse.
that
About
is
a week
very
ago, I
fucking
was
petty.
chilling in my apartment and I started hearing barking.
Barking. What the fuck?
It
What the fuck are these people doing? Nah, man, this is some weird stuff.
was
This
so
is
loud,
weird,
I
bro.
thought it was like 3 dogs, and I figured people were walking their dogs like right outside of my apartment. But after like 30 minutes straight of barking, it kind of
What the
died down,
fuck
and I
is?
figured it was nothing.
I'm still surprised that barking, barking. That makes no fucking okay.
But then the next day, it happened again. Except this time, it was longer than 30 minutes. It was like an hour straight, and I started to get confused. I stepped outside to see what was going on, and there were no dogs out there, but the barking still continued.
What the fuck is happening?
And then I realized that the barking was coming from above. And I was like, oh, I guess bro got a dog, but why hasn't it stopped barking for the past hour?
Yeah.
I went back inside and started to do some work, but I couldn't focus because the barking would not stop. Like, literally, it was every 5 seconds. Eventually, I had enough and I had to tell him that his dog was being way too loud. So I walked upstairs and I knocked on his door. And no one answered. But the dog was still barking like crazy. Then I kind of realized, like, oh, I guess the dog just has super bad separation anxiety. So I was just gonna wait until he got back and politely tell him that his dog...
I just think this guy isn't like that fucking... shit, I caught on to something. This guy most probably is a very fucking weirdo. I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I hope it's not what I think it is. And what I think is happening is, I think this guy is telling his girl to fucking bark like a dog whenever they're smashing.
Was barking too much and probably just has separation anxiety when he's gone. But right as I was about to leave, I noticed that his blinds were open and I caught a glimpse of the dog from outside, and it was a big dog and it was in a cage that was barely big enough for it. So I was like, oh,
That's fucking sad.
that's why it's barking. The dog was probably anxious from a combination of separation anxiety and claustrophobia, and I get that people need to put their dog in a cage when they're gone, especially if it's untrained so it doesn't destroy their apartment. But I was waiting for my neighbor to come back so I could go upstairs and tell him that his dog was being way too loud. But bro wasn't gone for like half an hour or an hour. He was gone for like 6 hours. Imagine 6 hours straight of this
I
dog.
won't lie, that would piss me off. Very fucking much. That would piss me the fuck off, man. I don't know. I think I'm kind of like a Karen, you know? When I get pissed off, I start turning into a Karen and start complaining about every single little thing that happens. So that would piss me off. Rightfully so.
Constantly
I mean, you kept your dog in a cage for 6 hours and it cannot stop barking. That is not my fucking problem.
barking and wailing. I couldn't focus anymore, so I literally went to a coffee shop to do work, and when I came back, he was still gone and the dog was still constantly barking. Eventually, at like 9 p.m., I noticed that the barking stopped, and I checked outside and his car was in his spot, and I was like, finally. So I walk upstairs and I knock on his door, and he opens it, and I'm like, hey bro, I live right below you. I just want to say I have no problem with your dog, but I just think it has really bad separation anxiety and it starts barking a lot when you're gone. If there's any way you could find a way to make it be quiet when you're gone, that would be amazing. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's my girlfriend's dog. I'm just
Sounds like a very kind way and respectable way to say stuff.
keeping
like
it
this.
here for the week. I'm gonna try to make it be quiet. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Then I go back to my apartment and I consider the situation dealt with. Except guess what happens the next day? The dog keeps barking, except this time it was for like 10 hours straight. It literally
10
woke me up
hours.
in the morning, and I immediately went upstairs to tell him the dog was barking too loud again, but of course he wasn't home.
wasn't there.
And I didn't really know what to do because my apartment complex has really
pets allowed.
strict rules about pets, and since his girlfriend's dog was probably not registered, if I snitched, he might get like really bad repercussions and possibly lose his lease, and that just felt too harsh for me. But I was also really annoyed. So like every hour on the dot, I would go upstairs and knock on his door to see if he was home. And of course he wasn't, because the dog was still barking. And at like 7 p.m., I just had enough. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna write this guy a note and tape it to his door, because there's something very ominous and authoritative about a note. So hopefully he would get the message. So I brought out a sticky note and I wrote this: the barking is getting ridiculous. Please deal with it. And then I went up, taped it to his door, and then went for a walk, honestly, just to avoid the barking. And when I got back, the barking had stopped and the sticky note was gone from his door. So it looked like he returned and he got the message. And honestly, since then, I've had no noise complaints.
Hey, that's
so
cool.
remember, in life, if you can't solve a problem with words,
Yeah.
solve it with a sticky note.
Okay, man. Shout out to wow, shout out to you, man. I do not know how to pronounce your name, but shout out to you. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe and like the video, and peace.